Hey, everybody. This is Five Questions with Paulist, and I'm Mike Hayes. And hey, today we're going to go down to deep in the heart, Austin, Texas. And there, Mitzi Eastman, who's the Director of Communication and Development for St. Austin's, is with us. And Mitzi, how are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm really good. And it's a beautiful day in the ATX.
Very nice. And so let's get right into it. Question one. Uh, so, how does someone go from working with the IRS to working with the church as you did?
Well, first of all, it's kind of where you get where you're able to work for IRS feeling wholehearted. St. Austin's is my parish. My children went to school here,
Mm.
and now they're very old. And so St. Austin's has always been a spiritual home for me. And my work at the IRS was in communications. And I guess IRS as a whole is the development organization for the nation. So it wasn't much of a stretch to take my communication background and sort of make it work. I had always wanted to go as a young woman to a mission in the Peace Corps or something like that. And so, upon my retirement after 37 years of service with IRS, it was my opportunity to go on mission. And so, as I approached 6 months from the end of my mission, so this comes at a lovely time. This is a great opportunity to look back and say, how did I get here? And I think Steve Jobs says it's always looking in the rearview mirror. You say, oh, that makes sense. You know, communication major, teacher, park ranger for Texas Parks and Wildlife, internal revenue agent, disclosure officer, director of stewardship and communications. Yeah, that's a straight path.
That's great. And so during all that path, question two, what's one story you've gotten to tell about St. Austin's that's been the most meaningful for you?
Um, so viewers, I asked Mike to give me puffball questions, and he gives me two Sophie's Choice questions. This was one of them. I think most of all, is there any one story that I love more than the others? I love telling the story over time of Father Paulo's ordination, especially recently looking toward the diaconate and promises masses. Telling Father Paulo's story of ordination, marketing it, getting up to it was a beautiful thing to do. But week in and week out, it's telling the stories of the beautiful things our social justice ministries do to really bring hope and help to our community. Between our outreach program and our St. Vincent de Paul program and our Gabriel program project, and our work with Micah 6 in the community, we do some groovy stuff and we help a lot of people. And those are wonderful stories to tell. The stories in which we bring hope, right? Bring resurrection to crucifixion times. As a visiting missionary just told us, just posting pictures of recipients of our prayer blankets who feel the love from them. Those are the stories I love telling, catching us being good.
Yeah. And question three, what's one way the Paulists have made a difference in your faith life?
I was walking up the ramp in the parking lot on my way. That's how I get into work, through the parking lot ramps. And I was walking up thinking about this question. And I thought, it's because they're so human. They're so human. They're so different, right? So you get a Jim Wiesner one time, and then you get a Stephen Bell, and then you get a Rene Constanza, you get a Rich Andre, you get a Father Chuck, you get Father Paolo, whom I call P3. Um, the rich diversity of the men who have served us through the Paulists and their charisms, right? we really are called to live that evangelization and that building of bridges, the ecumenism, but even more so, I think it's the reconciliation and their work on making people feel welcome and forgiven. That's pretty heady stuff. So I think that's why I like working here, because it ain't the pay, man.
Question 4, moving right along. What's one of your favorite haunts in Austin that visitors don't know about?
So yet another, this wasn't as big of a Sophie's choice because it's my neighborhood Mexican restaurant. It's called Azul Tequila. There's a couple of them in town, but the one by my house is on Ben White at South Lamar. And if you go on Friday night, Mariachi Relampago plays, and it is like going, all you have to do is get there at 7 so you can eat your meal and visit with your company. And then at 8 o'clock, they walk in and you're transported with joy into another time and place. And we sing along. And I mean, it's just a grand time.
Nice. We'll have to go there.
Azul Tequila. And the drinks aren't bad.
Very nice. And finally, question 5. So you're on a desert island. What's one book that you need to have with you besides the scriptures? Because we've already given you those.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And if the scriptures are on my iPhone and my Audible app is working, I'm really okay then. But this is a hard question for me because I'm an English major and because I love to read. I've been reading Father Rohr again. I just finished letting go and falling upward for the second time. I love Brene Brown. I mean, there is so much that I love to read, but I think if I pulled anything, it would be a complete works of Jane Austen or a complete works of William Shakespeare. But basically, I'm not going to any island without a library.
That was smart to take an anthology. No one's thought of that yet. So that's
yeah, no. The pages are really thin, but it's all there.
Right. And it's one book. Yeah, we said one book.
Oh my goodness, Mike. Well, thank you. This has been I got
great.
Through it.
This has been great, Mitzi. Thanks so much. And I know that you guys are in sort of transition down in St. Austin's as your
Yes, I welcome you to Cubbyland, and I wish I could take you outside so that you can see the cranes and the building growing. We're putting up floor 3, which is nearly, I mean, our building where our ministry center will be is nearly almost there.
Yeah, well, your pastor Chuck Coleman, Father Chuck Coleman, was my pastor in New York, and they built a new parish building in New York when he was pastor there. So this is just what Father Chuck does.
he is a builder. He is a great builder, and learning from you and probably some tricks from Old St. Mary's in San Francisco. We're going to have we're going to sign the floor, sign the foundation. And put our marks on it. Very
nice. Well, we'll look forward to hearing all about that sometime soon. So she's Mitzi Eastman, I'm Mike Hayes, and this has been 5 Questions with Paulist, and we'll see you all again sometime soon. Thank you, Mike.